What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the one, the only NyynewsTV. Guys, today, I woke up in a great mood, and I want to have some fun. That's what I'm looking to do, and you know how I have fun. Yankee fun. Okay? I'm going to take a look today, going back to 2011, of top Yankee prospects, 1 through 10. And we're going to have a little fun with this. Let's see. Are we either going to shift the narrative that Yankee prospects have been good? Or are we going to cement in stone maybe the Yankees should be a little more lenient with dealing some of the higher end guys? Because look, you can't sit here and go to Yankees don't trade guys. We're going to see that. A lot of the guys on these lists have been traded. But usually it's not that high-end top guy. Maybe that's a myth. Who knows? We're going to find out some myths today. We're going to do some myth busting. All right? We're doing some myth busting. So, without further ado, again, we're starting at 2011. I say we just go ahead and jump right into this. You guys are going to see what I'm seeing. You're going to hear me talking about it. I'll switch back and forth the cameras. You know how we do over here. Same old. So, let's cut right to it. Let us get into 2011. Oh, what a year it was. 2011. Here we go. Jesus Montero was the man. Jesus Montero, followed by, at the time, if you guys remember, the Yankees had 2 of the top catching prospects in baseball. That was Montero and Gary Sanchez. Manny Banuelos, Dellin Betances, Austin Romine, Andrew Brackman, making up the 3 killer bees, as you guys know. Ivan Nova, Hector Noesi, Eduardo Nunez, and Slade Heathcott. So the Yankees refused to add Eduardo Nunez in a deal to land Cliff Lee. They were willing to add Jesus Montero, but Montero was traded. Gary Sanchez, of course, now is a free agent. I think Manny Banuelos is still with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Traded, was last year with the Yankees for a little bit of time, but again, hasn't been. Okay, so let's do it like this. Jesus Montero was a complete bust. Gary Sanchez hasn't been anywhere near the player people expected him to be. Manny Banuelos, the same thing. Dellin Betances had some dominating years as a bullpen arm. Did he reach his ceiling? I think a lot of people thought he was a starter, but if I even remember back then, a lot of people thought he was set for the bullpen. I'd say Dellin Betances was good for the years he lasted. Austin Romine, backup guy, is what it is. Andrew Brackman, complete bust, never made it. Ivan Nova, couple of good years. Decent starting pitching. I'd say a decent guy. Hector Noesi, another guy I thought could have been much better. Started off kind of quick, died out. Eduardo Nunez had some very solid seasons. Very solid season. And Slade Heathcott, we know what happened with Slade Heathcott. But if you look at this list, you got one guy, and Gary Sanchez is still there. Austin Romine still recovering, getting himself back. Eduardo Nunez is done. Not the cutest thing in the world. Let's go on and go to 2012. We see now Manny Banuelos has taken over the top spot. And he is, obviously, we said before, no real differences here. Mason Williams, who has really gone nowhere. Dante Bichette Jr., Yankees got the wrong Bichette. And guys, I'll keep it in the top 10. Adam Warren, who just retired, and Cito Culver. My God, traded in... I believe he was traded in, I want to say, Cito Culver. Was he traded in the Stanton deal? Why am I thinking of Cito Culver with Bobby Abreu? Definitely wasn't Bobby Abreu. I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but yeah, Cito Culver, nothing anymore. Of course, Adam Warren just retired. We know all that. Again, this list right here, nothing cute. Vicente Campos finally made it to the majors. Never turned into anything else. Other than that, let's go to 2013 and look. Gary Sanchez is now the Yankees' #1 prospect, followed by Mason Williams. Tyler Austin is finally on the list. As we know, Tyler Austin is now in Asia playing baseball. Slade Heathcott went nowhere, as we know. Manny Banuelos with the Pirates. Ty Hensley never really went anywhere else. Angelo Gooms never went nowhere. Mark Montgomery, the right-hander Mark Montgomery's in AAA. It looks like with the Red Sox. I don't know if that's recent. Zulio Monte's out of baseball. So none of these, again, might be the worst one so far. Let's move on to 2014. And Gary Sanchez is still the Yankees' top prospect, followed by Mason Williams and Slade Heathcott. John Ryan Murphy finally makes it. My all-time favorite, Eric Hagayo, never turned into anything. In AAA still with the Miami Marlins. Had big power as a lefty bat. Never put it together and never made it. He was talked about as this huge prospect. Never turned into it. Greg Bird finally making the list along with Ian Clarkin. The lefty, I think, finally made it to the majors, but never turned into anything. And then you see the great Aaron Judge and Luis Severino. So maybe that young crop, is that what it's going to show us? Is that young crop of Yankee prospects got better? Did it start to improve after 2014? We're going to get into that right now. So as of now, looking at 2011 and on, there's really nobody that made a severe impact on the New York Yankees. And it's the next couple of years now will get interesting, right? Because you're going to start seeing new heads come in. Brian Cashman get more of the reins, more of his people coming in. And let's see how that affected. Did a change start to happen? Did different guys start to come in? Or is it, a cup of coffee in the big times? I don't know. Macho Man Randy Savage reference if you guys didn't know. Let's get on over to 2015 now. And we got a little more familiar names jumping up to the top of the board. There is Luis Severino, who climbs all the way up top. And Luis Severino, to his credit, has been a good Yankee. Been injured. Understandable. Guys get injured. But Luis Severino has been good. Aaron Judge, arguably the best Yankee prospect since Derek Jeter. Offensive-wise, no doubt about it. He has been phenomenal. Or Robbie Cano, however you want to go about that. Aaron Judge has been the man, and he is now a produced Yankee captain in the system. Jorge Mateo, who is doing well with the Baltimore Orioles, finally started to put it together. A lot of people thought he should have won the Gold Glove last year. Had a decent year for Baltimore. In a year where they played much better, Mateo was a big part of it. Greg Bird, a guy that many of us thought would be the Yankees starting first baseman for years to come, completely died out. Rob Refsnyder, another guy who was tearing it up in the minors, and we expected big things. He comes up with the Yankees, homers in Fenway, and really was never good for New York. Had a decent year with Boston last year. Ian Clarkin, we already know. Gary Sanchez then drops to number 7, and we know Gary is still on the free agent market. Nobody's after him. Jacob Lindgren, who was a guy that a lot of people were excited for. Power lefty. A lot of people thought he would be the next Mariano Rivera. I remember those conversations back in the day as a guy that could be a dominating lefty closer. Never turned into anything. And Luis Torrens right now was drafted into Rule 5 very early by the San Diego Padres, I believe, and has never turned into anything else as of right now. 2016, we're getting closer and closer to the now. We got Jorge Mateo was the Yankees' number 1 prospect, followed by Aaron Judge, who was ranked number 2. Again, this is 2016. Gary Sanchez made a bump back up. James Caprillion, finally on the list, who's finally healthy and doing somewhat decent in with the Oakland Athletics. Of course, Oakland still won the Sonny Gray deal, which he was a part of. Wilkerman Garcia never became anything as of yet. He's a guy that could put it all together and climb quick, but really, you could argue maybe a bust in the future. Dustin Fowler, horrible injury, went on and kept playing ball. Never the same. Probably never will be the same. Nothing became of it. Domingo Acevedo finally got a chance with the Oakland Athletics and has done a solid job. Tyler Wade has always been a utility infielder. Nothing more, nothing less. Has a weird fan obsession from a lot of people on Yankee Twitter, which is weird enough. But hey, it's Yankee Twitter, and that's the kind of world we're living in today. Rob Refsnyder, again, you guys already know, and Ian Clarkin rounding out the bottom. So again, on this list, you're really looking at Aaron Judge as of right now. And Domingo Acevedo has years to go before you can say anything about him. James Caprillion also. Gary Sanchez is strangling out there, chilling in the free agent market. And Jorge Mateo, can he duplicate the season that he had with Baltimore? We'll see. 2017, Gleyber Torres makes his first list. Jackson Frazier, who is not signed by anybody. I'm laughing because they actually changed it to Jackson Frazier. Blake Rutherford never became anything. Was supposed to be this dominating, great young left-handed hitting outfielder. never turned into it. We know Aaron Judge, Jorge Mateo, we talked about Caprillion, we talked about. Justice Sheffield was the next dominating left-handed starting pitcher. Remember? Chance Adams! He was the next Roger Clemens, we were told. Famously not traded for Garrett Cole to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They held back on that one. Wouldn't include him and Jackson Frazier in that deal. Justice Sheffield, of course, was supposed to be the next big thing. He's been getting hammered around at the major league level. Fowler, we know about him. Miguel Andor had an amazing rookie year at the Yankees. Tried to play anywhere he could. Never really given a chance. And now he is playing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Went on to Pittsburgh, hit a lot of singles, I believe. I think he hit close to 300. And it's going to be interesting to see what Miguel Andújar does and turns into. Only 27 years old still, which is, of course, the current age of him. So, again, out of all these guys, Gleyber Torres was traded for. I don't really consider him a Yankee prospect, but I guess you can, considering they got him while he was still in the minors. And he's panned out as of right now. Probably not what we expected him to be, but he's been pretty good. 2018, Gleyber Torres is still ranked number 1, followed by Estevan Florial, who, again, is kind of in limbo. Does he get a chance in left field this year? Yankees said they were going to give him a chance last year, never actually did it. Sheffield, we know about. Andujar, we know about. Albert Abreu makes his first appearance on the list, and is still a relief pitcher. Did a good job last year for the Yankees, but again, nothing really amazing. Luis Medina was now traded, and he's still in the minor leagues. Francer Perez, who a lot of people thought was going to be dominating. Injuries have stalled his career. Domingo Acevedo, we talked about it. Tyro Estrada makes his debut on this list. He is now a shortstop, second baseman for the San Francisco Giants, and actually has turned himself into a pretty good ball player. So, again, guys, up until this point, there really isn't a sexy crop of players. The cream hasn't rose to the top, unless it has in the form of Aaron Judge and maybe Luis Severino. But again, we're only in 2018. Got a couple of more years to go. Let's get right back into it. We're going to bring it all the way up into the now, of course. Let's get into 2019, where Estevan Florial takes over as the top prospect for the New York Yankees. And again, we all know about Florial. We know the talent that's available. He has yet to get a long, extended look in the major leagues. The chance he has gotten, he only really capitalized on one of them the year he hit 300. Last game he played, I forgot what year it was, maybe 2021. Doubled in the gap at Fenway, was looking really good. I was excited about him. I was hyping him up. And then he never played again. And then the Yankees called him up last year and goes, hey, he's going to get some chances to actually play. And he had like an 0-4 and he never played again. So, Aaron Hicks. Jonathan Loaisiga, who right now is looking like a very solid relief pitcher for the Yankees. Abreu, we already talked about. Devi Garcia, has really been a bust for the New York Yankees. He's trying to reformulate himself and become a strong relief pitcher. We'll see how that goes. Clark Schmidt, finally up with the majors, has been injury prone throughout his career, but has found a home maybe in the bullpen. Maybe the Yankees give him a chance at the 5th starter spot in spring. We'll see. Anthony Siegler, always been a great defensive catcher, has not been able to put it all together. He's been somewhat of a bust for the Yankees. Everson Piera, we know, is still one of the Yankees' top prospects. Trevor Stephan is now with the Indians. We saw him in the postseason, so he's done a good job as a relief pitcher. Antonio Cabello, never put it together. Rosny Contreras is another guy who is now starting with the Pittsburgh Pirates and has been a pretty decent relief pitcher. Looked very good against the Yankees this year. Going on to 2020, and here's we're going to start seeing some of the names that we are familiar with right now. And we'll take a brief look at these guys, but we already know. Jason Dominguez, Clark Schmidt, Devi Garcia, Oswald Peraza, who is now potentially the Yankees starting shortstop. Luis Gil, who, without Tommy John surgery, would have probably made an impact on the Yankees last year. Could do that this year, if not traded. Estevan Florial, we know. Alexander Vizcaino moved on to the Chicago Cubs. Anthony Volpe at that point ranked number 9. Luis Medina 10, of course, with the Oakland A's now. And Yoendrys Gomez still in the Yankee system, looking to stay healthy and put it together. 2021, Dominguez. And we all know these guys. There's nobody, only new ones on here. Austin Wells, we know about. Florial continues to dip further and further away from the list, so another top Yankee prospect kind of just disappearing. And then the list last year, all these guys are still here. The Yankees haven't moved any of them as of right now. They are all still here. You see some of these guys already at that major league level, is where their expectation is. Everson Pierre, of course, in Double-A, but he's on the 40-man roster. So is Oswald Peraza and Luis Gil. That's why those guys are there. And we go to the most recent updated one, which is not updated yet, but the majority of people, if we go back, has it. The top 5 pretty close to being the same. Volpe, Dominguez, Peraza, Jones, Piera is typically the way you're looking at that, with Wells in that mix also. So that's typically what you're looking at as of right now. We know what could these guys become. Will they be the next great crop of Yankee prospects? We don't know. We are yet to see. But I think if you look at this list, and again, guys, we're going all the way back here to 2011. You can make a strong case that as of right now, the only impact since 2011, which we're about to be 12 years away, or we are 12 years away, depending on when you're starting this list. Let's say it's January. 12 years away. The Yankees have had 2 guys who you can say are really kind of impacting as of right now. And I know there's some people that may bounce back. Go, Pete, what about Gleyber Torres? I don't care. Look, you want to throw him in there? Throw him in there. 3 guys. And another thing is, the same way that we talked about a lot of the top guys, folks, maybe some of you are young and you don't remember. We talked about a lot of the Yankees guys that way. Betances, Manny Banuelos was the next Johan Santana. I remember all this. Gary Sanchez was Mike Piazza. Jesus Montero was the greatest Yankee catcher of all time. All right? I mean, you look at some of the names. Andrew Brackman, the Killer Bees. They were supposed to be unbelievable. He was like the right-handed Randy Johnson. Mason Williams, who were expected to be the next great Yankee center fielder. Slade Heathcott, they compared him to the country boy Mickey Mantle style. Roger Maris. Never became that, of course. Eric Hagayo was this guy with gigantic pop. He'd be hitting homers at Yankee Stadium forever. Slade Heathcott, again, we know about Slade Heathcott. Jorge Mateo was supposed to be the next Derek Jeter. Ian Clarkin. All these, Jacob Lindgren, I remember, was the next Mariano Rivera. It was always talked about. Legendary bat speed. We've heard all this before. Justice Sheffield, Dominic, Chance Adams, Roger Clemens. So all I'm saying, guys, is look, I don't think it's wrong that the Yankees get a bad rap on how they've handled their prospects and how their prospects have panned out. Now, you can probably sit there and say, well, Pete, what does it look like for other clubs? You know, we're talking about this. Well, what does it look like for other teams? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I mean, we can do a quick run. You guys want to do a quick run real quick? Let's do a quick run and just see. Let's look at our rivals. Let's look at the Houston Astros going back to 2011. Let's do that, okay? Maybe we could do a little fun comparison. It's going longer than I expected, but let's do it. The hell with it. 2011, and we'll run through these guys pretty quick, but looking at their top prospects, ain't nobody really there right now. And this is the Houston Astros. These are our mortal enemies. All right? Then they get into George Springer, who we know has been a good player. Jonathan VR ended up being very good. Not really for them. Nobody else here as of right now. Go to 2013. Carlos Correa, we know what he's become. George Springer, we know what he's become. Lance McCullers, we know what he's becoming. Nick Tropiano, who was with the Yankees a little bit last year. Brad Peacock. Again, nothing that really jumps off the board to you as of yet. Mark Appel, who, you know, was a sad story, never really made it. Lance McCullers, we know. Again, you're starting to see some more guys that are in major leagues, but nobody that really blew this club up. So, is it just the Yankee thing? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Michael Felice finally putting it together a little bit. Brett Phillips, not really great. Colin Moran had a couple of good years with the Pirates. Josh Hader, we know is phenomenal. Teoscar Hernandez, we know is phenomenal. Domingo Santana had a couple of good years. Carlos Correa, we already know about going into 2016. We have Michael Felice. We talked Derek Fisher. Joe Musgrove, who's become a very good relief starting pitcher. Kyle Tucker, who's a very good player. A.J. Reed, and of course, Alex Bregman, we know, is a very good player. So immediately what we're seeing off the bat, we're seeing a better group of prospects than what the Yankees have already had. And I don't know if that's due to the way they drafted or what, but a lot of these guys have made an impact. Jordan Alvarez, we know about. Forrest Whitley, we know about. The list goes on and on. There's still some guys here making impacts. Is it the greatest crop in the world? It's a pretty damn good one. Brian Abreu, we know about. Seth Beer, we know about with Arizona. Getting into the 2020s now, and this is just looking under Houston. Toros now with the Brewers, we know about it. Jose Urquidy, however the hell you say his name, is still out there. Christian Javier, Jeremy Pena, Corey Lee, Hunter Brown. You know, and as you move on to 2021, I don't know if there's anybody else that impacted, but you can see the crop. You can see the crop and the difference from the years to where the Houston Astros are now. As a Yankee fan, let's be honest. From the guys we looked at, again, we could say Judge, Sevy, and Gleyber Torres. Is there some relief pitchers? John Loizaga that's been good. Is some of those guys that exist? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a fair statement to make, right? Jorge Mateo might end up being good. And I'm not even counting guys that are just good with the Yankees. But, I mean, James Caprillion got a couple of years to go to be halfway decent. But again, guys, with no bias at all, you look at the difference in the crop of talent these guys had and the level of guys that are in the majors now. Maybe not with the Astros, but in the majors. And then the mainstays that are with the Astros, your Bregman, your Jordan Alvarez, your Kyle Tucker, Christian Javier, all those young guys went through the system with them. I think you can see where some of that difference is. It may not be that, it just may be the way that the teams are drafting. Maybe the Yankees are drafting better now. And we're going to see that with Volpe. We're going to see that with Dominguez, Sweeney, all these young guys they got coming up. Spencer Jones, Austin Wells, Piera. Maybe we'll see that with Peraza. We'll see. But I think this is a fun video for fans to really look at it and go, we're so close, man. We're so close to beating the Houston Astros. So close to really competing with them. That's the rivalry. Forget the Yankees and Red Sox. It's the Yankees and Houston. Can the Yankees get over past that hump? Is it a mental thing in the Yankees' mind? A lot of people think it is, that they just can't beat Houston. But does the talent just need to improve? And do the Yankees need to do that by dealing some of their prospects? We know what the list is, right? We know who the main guys are right now. Out of these 10 names, Luis Gil, Clayton Beeter, Will Warren, no order, forget it, Spencer Jones, Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, Oswald Peraza, Austin Wells, Everson Piera, Trey Sweeney. Do all 10 of those guys make it? Do 3 of them make it? I got something even scarier for you guys. Does one of them make it? I guess we'll find out. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this video? It's just a fun little comparison, right? Looking back on the years, Yankee prospects through the years. What were they? How many actually worked? And it's fun to do because we have nothing else to do right now. And one of the big complaints of the Yankees is we're not dealing guys to win a World Series. Maybe we need to do that. Hal Steinbrenner spent the money. Maybe we can make a couple of big trades. I don't know. Just spitballing and saying. April 1st is right around the corner, guys. NyynewsTV Day Part 2. San Francisco Giants at the New York Yankees. It could very well be Carlos Rodon's first start with the Yankees, and I am hype. Tickets are selling very, very quick. And I don't give a poot if you believe that or not. They're selling very, very quick, and it is limited. So make sure you go get your ticket today. Description is in the link. The link is in the description. Description is in the link. Look at that. Description is in the link. Wow, I'm losing it. The link is in the description. I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Let me get out of here before I keep mixing up words. Adios.